Welcome, everyone, to the Why Not Us podcast. This podcast is being filmed today, not in person. We are, in fact, over webcam again, and in the most Why Not Us Jersey Mike and myself fashion Mike. We got too lazy and didn't want to do it, and we wanted to watch football on the couch instead. So here we are. Some would say we never left.
We have our priorities. Are they in order how we want them to be? I think so.
I think so too.
We like watching football together, and we only had one Sunday to do that. And I say we maximize that.
We had a good weekend. There's some things that we do best that separate us from the pack. There was even some debates as far as agenda during the weekend. I'd like to credit myself in dialing you in to knowing that we had to do what we do best, which probably, I would assume, our only Sunday together this whole year, right? I think the plan was always to incorporate the in-person pod to this. I even went to Walmart and got us both little portable mics and even a little tripod stand. It was like $50. And when push came to shove, we can give the recap and maybe we'll explain how it led up to this. We just didn't want to do it. Mike was falling asleep. I was dialed in on Texans and didn't want to set things up. And here we are, but great weekend.
Fantastic weekend. It was great to see you. Saturday we got very drunk and went out, partied with our friends. We went to the casino. Casino was fun.
We did do that. Yes.
How did you end up at the casino? I truly don't remember, so I feel bad if you lost.
Not as good as the 4 people in our group. We had a group of 5. But I did have a good Sunday. It was nice. A pretty enjoyable Sunday. How was your Sunday, Mike?
My Sunday was good, and like you said, it was off to an unorthodox start. So we went to the casino, and one of our friends left his credit card at the bar.
Right.
So I chose voluntarily to go back to the casino with him in the morning.
At like 9 a.m.
To get the credit card. Yeah, at like 10 a.m.
It was 10,
Partially because I was excited to go back to the casino. Partially because I didn't want him to go get his credit card alone.
I should have gone.
So we grabbed his credit card and we said, Florida, I'm not here all the time.
Yeah.
Really nice day. It was like 95 degrees outside.
It was a great day. Yeah.
So we went to the Hard Rock pool, which was supposed to be only for residents of the hotel. And we sat down and we grabbed a beer, sat by the pool. Suddenly, we paid for a day pass. We had ordered lunch, and our really hot waitress was bringing us more. Just suddenly, it was 11:30, and I was drunk again.
Great day.
So I tried to reel everybody else in because it was unbelievable. There was a restaurant and a bar out there. There was TVs to watch all the games.
I tried. I didn't really try. Mike, I get it, right? It's awesome, but Sundays are made for the couch, dude. I get that there's a lot of things on paper that added up to it. I think most of the audience will defend you, especially from the standpoint of like, if you're going to visit your boys for a weekend, go at it, right? So I apologize. I had a long week prior leading up to that Sunday. The couch was really my safe haven, and full transparency to the audience, I am losing my mind just a little bit. I kind of knew this was going to happen. I was having a lot of fun. I was really busy. Things were kind of going my way almost for a sec. So far, it's Tuesday, and I just don't think I'm going to make it through this week just from a lot of factors. And I kind of should have expected that almost, so here we are.
A reality check, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. No, big time. For sure. Here we are.
But Sunday, we sat on the couch. I came back. We watched football. We ate buffalo chicken dip. And we sports bet.
Else. There was something big.
The spinach and artichoke dip.
Right. That's what it was. That's what happened on Sunday. That made me go, this is a great day, is when I dipped my hot Cheetos into spinach and artichoke dip. I think it's close second place is when the Eagles just put their fucking heel on the Cowboys' throat.
Yeah, I guess we should talk about it.
We probably should, Mike. And honestly, people don't want to talk about this game. They don't want to talk about Cooper Rush. They don't want to talk about Cowboys fans, Jerry Jones. They don't want to talk about any of that. They want to talk about what you have to do because of what you signed up for and because of this game. I'm sure they also would like to hear about your reactions and the snowball effect during this game. But, Mike, care to address your tall task ahead of you?
Yeah, so it's already Tuesday night. I have run 0 miles so far this week. I do, though, because of the Cowboys' loss, have to run 28 miles. 28 is more than a marathon. And
Yeah.
I have 5 days to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I will do it. And I mean, my phone was blowing up on
I have a
Sunday,
question.
mostly in support, mostly people fired up. I was a little offended by the people that were like, no way he's going to do it. And people sent me screenshots of like their friends who texted them and were like, yo, no way your boy runs a marathon, right? I'm like, fuck you. I'm going to run 28 miles.
Okay. So my question is like, did you ever think, because I'm totally okay with you spreading it out throughout the week. In fact, that's what I thought you meant when you started this challenge. I think you at one point, and maybe other people in the audience too, thought you meant the one day was going to knock it out. That's kind of what I've seen.
I think that was like the idea to like make it fucking crazy
Did you
and do
not think
that
they were
in
going
one
to lose
day.
by 28 in a game?
No, I didn't think about that.
They lost to the Lions 38 points or
Yeah,
whatever the week
so
before.
all right. I didn't think about any of it. I mean, the fact that I'm doing it over the course of a week is still fucking insane. I'm gonna have to run like at least 6 miles every day. Like it's stupid. Back to back days. Like I didn't think about any of it. So the
It'll be
fact that I'm
good.
doing any of it is fucking insane. And the fact that I'm gonna do 28 miles this week is insane. And
What if
nobody's gonna believe it till they see it.
you have Friday off, right?
I have Friday off work, so Friday is a big day. And Friday is also a big day because my birthday is next Wednesday.
Right?
And being that it's a Wednesday and the way that the schedule worked at work with all the Wizards and Caps games, the only day for me to celebrate was this Friday.
You're going to be so sore for the weekend.
So we're going out Friday and, we're going out hard.
If you could stand up.
And it also means Saturday is 0 miles. I mean, I don't know if I could walk a mile
100%.
on Saturday.
100%.
So
Chalk
realistically,
Sunday up for a 0 miles too.
I've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and maybe Sunday. So
I think you
it's a
should
lot of
try.
miles.
I think you should try and do this in 2. I think you should try and do, hear me out, 14 miles on Wednesday tomorrow, and you got to do this tomorrow. Tomorrow and Thursday, okay? And do this, okay? Run 3 miles, walk 2 miles, run 3 miles, walk 2, run, just like split it up that way. It's going to take you forever, but, you'll get a good route in. You'll see the Washington Monument. Maybe you'll even end up in Arlington, Virginia. And you get to take your time, right? And it's going to suck, but I would accept that. I think a lot of the viewers would accept that. That's minimum case scenario. It depends on how much of a doc you want to be, I guess.
Yeah, I think I have Sunday put me in for a tough 4. How about that? A tough 4.
You're down to 24.
That gives me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to run 24.
8 miles
I
each
really
day.
should. Yeah, I think I mean, I did 6 twice. So I think it's like I think I might do 6, 8, 10. See, I'm afraid if I go too big in the beginning, I'm going to get too sore.
I think you should do it all in one.
I think I'm just gonna go out tomorrow and see how many miles I can run. I think like I can't think about the next
Yeah.
day. Like you if you're in the playoffs,
Why not
you
you?
can't like you can't
Why?
think about like resting somebody for because you need them for the next game. Like you have to win that game. So I think I have to go out and run as many miles as I can tomorrow. Deal with it after the fact. If the bullpen's a little short for game
Yeah.
2, like we're gonna have to throw it together with what we got.
What if you could end the series in one game? Like, what's the percentage of your mind that's being taken up of like, ooh, what if I just clutch the fuck up and run 28 miles?
I think it's a time thing. I literally don't have the time. I mean, how long would it take me to run 28 miles? Like,
Yeah, you got work and shit. I mean, did you have today off?
no, I literally got off the plane and went straight to work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a
Oh.
beast.
Oh, but you had Monday off.
Yeah. But I
Got
was
it.
with my mom, so I didn't have time to run. And
Yeah, let's talk about football. So, you'll update the people. They know that. They love the content right now. Good luck to you. It could
Thank
have
you.
been more points. It could have been more.
Yeah,
It was.
it could have
Your
been
hope.
less. It
Your
could have
hope
been
was up.
less.
I got a lot of satisfaction from this game because your hope was up. Like we kind of like gave you hope, but also didn't let you have points. So like
Yeah,
there
the
was.
first half was painful
Mhm.
because I was loud, I was screaming, I was fired up.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, I stand by this. The Cowboys were the better team in the first half of
So
that
they
game.
weren't. So they weren't. It's a
Aside
stretch.
from aside from putting the ball in the end zone, they were the better team. They kicked a field goal because CeeDee Lamb couldn't see the ball. They kicked a field goal because they got stopped. Zeke fumbled on the goal line. They should have had 17 points in the first, which would have
That's just
given
not
them a
how football works.
17, which would have given them a 17-14 lead at half. And let's not forget that Cooper Rush decided not to catch the snap, giving the Eagles the ball on the Cowboys 17, which led to a touchdown. So
This
it
doesn't
should have
change.
been
Okay, Mike.
17-7 if he doesn't drop that snap, because the Eagles could not put together a drive until that 2-minute drive before that. Is that false?
Dude, yeah. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, it went
What other
punt.
drive did the Eagles put
They
together in the
scored
first
on their
half?
second drive.
When they got the ball on the 17.
Okay, and then what happened when it was still 7-6 when they got the ball back with 1:25 at the end of the half, and they had a slow start, kind of like they've had a lot this year, but sometimes
I
also
said that
not.
was the only good drive.
I said, but when right before the half, I said they are scoring a touchdown here, and you were like, no way, they're gonna do it in. Oh, and you said this. You said, yeah, you forgot they're starting at their 25-yard line, not ours.
I did
And
say
guess
that.
what? They rolled down the field and they scored a touchdown with 20 seconds on the clock. And your words out of your mouth were, how are you up 8? And that's the point about the Philadelphia Eagles this year, is you got to play perfect to beat us, because eventually this team is just going to either gut you with the run with smooth, consistent drives and third down conversions because of what they can do on third and short, or they're going to have big plays. And guess what? Both ended up happening in this game. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, I think that things really went south when we gave up that touchdown drive. Ultimately, then the Eagles getting the ball in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the 2 fumbles were bad. One of them was for a touchdown. One of them gave up a touchdown. The Cowboys were never going to win the game with Cooper Rush and all these injuries, but they were in it and did not deserve to be down 8 at halftime. Now, I think more than anything, the biggest factor that caused the Cowboys to lose was the injury of DeMarvion Overshown.
It was the DeMarvion Overshown game for a good 23 minutes.
DeMarvion Overshown did not make it through the through the first half. He got injured in the second quarter, and he finished the game with
Is it really
11 total tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 tackles for a loss, along with 2
He
other
was
QB
everywhere.
hits.
Yeah.
in the first half.
Yeah. Some are saying he's better than Micah Parsons. They're saying that he was the leader, the true number one on that defense.
I mean, there was literally a tweet. I don't know if it was from Schefter or Stephen A or Skip, or it was one of those guys. It was Ryan. What's his name? Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark tweeted, "I don't think we can slam the door shut on the Micah Parsons is the best defensive player on the Cowboys conversation. Welcome to Marvion Overshow," which is too far because Micah is clearly the best player on the defense. He's a top 5 defensive player in the league. He actually looked really fucking good, especially in the first half. It was happy to have him back. But DeMarvion Overshow, he was a baller. And then he got hurt, which is like classic. I think he's done for the season. It was a non-contact play.
There's Band-Aids going on right here, Mike. Come on. There's some conclusions. Like, there's some sadness that needs to come from this. I get what you're doing, but the audience hasn't gotten to see, like, you were going through it for a sec on that couch with me. You mentioned the next 3 years. You did mention Travis Hunter. That did come up at one point. That is something you can look forward to. But Mike, I mean, 3-6, maybe another win. There might get a top 5 pick.
Which would be awesome.
It would be awesome, right? But there's still a lot of bad money decisions. One thing I thought of, like, are they going to be able to pay like Zach Martin, right? And he hasn't even been that good because
he's a free agent after this year, I think.
You're seeing though, like, the past 10 years of your life, the Cowboys' problems have revolved around a few key pieces, or the coach, or Tony Romo / Dak Prescott can't win the big game. Now the problem is brand new, and it's offensive line and it's defensive talent. And those are big problems, right? So I had to point these out again because that's where we're at with the Dallas Cowboys. I think this is a true downfall. I think this is an explosion. I think this was a snowball effect. And I think it was ended by the Philadelphia Eagles in AT&T Stadium in Jerry's World on Sunday with my presence in your vicinity. On paper, dude, not your weekend.
No, I mean, ultimately, I will watch every Cowboys game every season, no matter what. But the expectations are zero. I think you're going a little far with like.
I'm sorry.
We might be one of the worst teams in the league, like whatever.
I have one more thing to add, and it's that on the last podcast, like, go look at the tape. We were like debating. I was like, yeah, I probably won't come. And then I did end up coming. And we also talked about how it could be like my doomsday, but it wasn't. But sorry, continue.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately last week I had to force myself to be confident, and I will do that for many other games. Well, specifically 2. We played the Giants and the Panthers this season. So I'm hoping we can win those 2. But at the same time, like, we only have 3 wins. Right now we're tied with a bunch of other teams for the 6th pick in the draft. The other 5 teams have 2 wins. So maybe they pick up a few wins. I mean, we could very easily have a top 5 pick. Travis Hunter would be cool. If it's not Travis Hunter, it's the 2nd best non-QB off the board, probably. Like, I just think the reality is the Cowboys will never be bad. So maybe we're stuck in this mediocrity or 500, but we're always going to be competitive. And yeah, the O-line isn't great, but it's not the worst in the league. You still have CeeDee Lamb. You still have Jake Ferguson. You still have other young weapons that theoretically could develop. On the defense, you still have Micah Parsons and other young guys that are showing promise, like DeMarvion Overshown and Osa Odighizuwa. Not elite, but they're showing promise. So you'll have a young defense that like sort of gets turnovers sometimes, but isn't great. Like, I don't know, like, healthy, are we worse than the Rams? No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's like a fair comparison. Like,
I think it's pretty even, honestly. Yeah.
Right. So we're a middle of the pack team. So
I don't know. Rams, I think Rams draft picks are better. Like,
the Rams gave away all their draft picks to get a Super Bowl.
But it seems like they have
Jared
a lot of
was their first round pick in like 8 years
on that defense. So there's a lot of
Jared Verse was their first round pick in like 8 years.
I know. It seems like they, took advantage of all right. I get it. But the Cowboys haven't drafted well.
No,
right?
But I mean, ultimately, Jerry Jones isn't going anywhere. But I mean, I was talking to my dad today, and I think the reality is Mike McCarthy has to go. If Mike McCarthy doesn't go, like, I don't know if I can watch Cowboys football. That would be legit. But Mike McCarthy's going to get fired after the season, and so will Zimmer, and so will the OC, and so will.
But what does that solve? Like, why are you guys so mad at McCarthy? That's the thing I don't really get. Like, what is he like controlling in like the win-loss column? Like, they're just losing these games because they're not as good. I'm confused.
I don't think so, though. I think this game, obviously, we're not as good, but every other game that we've been in that we're not winning at the end, the games where the offense just blows a stinker, like, this is a good offense. It should be a good offense.
It shouldn't
be the worst run offense in the league. It shouldn't be an offense where we can't get the ball to CeeDee Lamb unless it's a fucking end around.
Run offense, though, like bad O-line, bad running backs, what do you expect?
Rico Dowdle's not terrible, and the O-line is not the worst in the league.
I mean, yeah, you're right. Oh, wow. We saw some bad O-line play on Sunday. Holy shit. There are some bad offensive lines.
Monday
was awful. I mean, both of those offensive lines came straight out of fucking high school football. Even on Sunday Night Football, the Texans O-line is god-awful.
Yeah.
Which was a great game, by the way.
Stroud has looked so bad on the season because
right.
He doesn't have time.
Well, I think wow.
We'll get to it. But
yeah, we'll get to it.
To close off the Cowboys, I think the reality of the Cowboys is you bring in a new young head coach that has some character and some firepower, and you bring in a cool OC that can do something and can play to our strengths. Like, we're not a bad team. We're an average team. We're a team that can fight for the 7th spot in the playoffs. Are we a Super Bowl contender next year? No. Are we a team that can fight for the playoffs? Sure. We're not. Like, we don't.
Playoffs?
All right.
We're not talking about playoffs. This is no. That team's not making the playoffs, dude.
That team can make the playoffs next year. Why couldn't they?
No. The Dallas Cowboys are not making the playoffs this year, dude. No.
I'll throw a future on it right now. You find me a book with it, I would hammer that.
Take my odds. Let me give you odds, and you say yes or no. This is a personal vendetta bet between you and me because there's no shot.
I'm putting this in my phone and setting a reminder for December of 2025.
Let's break it down. The Cowboys are what in the NFC right now? They're 3-6. Okay. I'm gonna give you on this 8-1 odds.
How many wins do you think we get next year? I think that's an easier way to do it.
Next year?
Yeah.
Are we talking about this year's playoffs
I'm talking
or
about next year. You're an idiot.
I thought you were talking about this year.
I'm saying next year with the new coach and for top 5 pick, we could make the playoffs.
I'm sorry. I was giving you 8-1 odds on this year. It should
I don't
probably
want
be
this year. We're not making the playoffs this year.
Okay. That's why I was freaking out. We can cut that out. I was like, dude.
Next year, we bring in
a
new coach and a top 5 pick and some firepower coordinators to get this young team fired up and get them running around the field. They could very easily make the playoffs.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
I think it's okay. You can't. I'm not going to even ask you about the Eagles and Commanders because if I asked you about this year, if I asked you about the next 3 years, you would rather be those 2 teams over the Cowboys. But I'm going to ask you: do you think the Cowboys have like a better roster right now than the Giants do? Because, like, think about it, right? It's top heavy. I know you got Dak, who, I mean, we can talk about Dak. CD, by the way, he had 21 yards on 42, something like that.
Getting the ball from Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush can't throw the ball, and neither can Trey Lance. Dude, I mean, let's go position by position. Dak over Daniel Jones. My receivers over the Giants receivers.
Malik Neighbors. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Okay, CD over Malik Neighbors. And Wan'Dale is just a slightly larger Kevontae Turpin.
I think that's even.
Tight ends, Jake Ferguson over whoever the fuck they have, Theo Johnson.
Yeah.
Running backs, they can have it with Tyrone Tracy, I guess. We could draft a 5th rounder next year. It'd be just as good as them.
So, yeah.
O-line,
And then
their O-line's no good either.
it's pretty even. I'd say it's even on offense. And then defense, they have Kayvon Thibodeau, they have Brian Burns, they have Sexy Dexy.
And
Their
we
quarterbacks
have
suck.
Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, and DeMarvion Overshown.
And Trayvon Diggs had a
I'll
good
take Trayvon
interception.
Diggs over the fucking Banks,
Yeah, that's
dude,
what
any
I was
day of
going
the
to say.
week.
Their secondary blows. It's close, though. You have to admit it's close. And the Giants are in line to have the number 1 overall pick, in which case they would probably take Shedeur or Cam Ward. They got to take a quarterback.
You would think.
I would think that pick, and I think that pick should be Shedeur Sanders. I think Cam Ward is a very logical top 3 pick as well.
Cam Ward is a dog, man.
Cam Ward's a fucking dog, dude. There's a lot to like about Cam Ward. And we can even talk about college real quick, because there were some spots. Cam Ward is like one of those quarterbacks who can be electrifying and give you 28 points in the fourth quarter, right? It's just I think about third downs, third and longs in the NFL. Like, you trust the type of guy to get that job done. And that is a special box, right? Because we've seen that this year, man. Some of these teams, even the Cowboys on 3rd and 8, you're just like, bye-bye, not fucking happening. And that comes from a bad run game, right? But like Cam Ward, he'd be good on a shitty team. And I'd say the same thing about Shedeur too, but Cam Ward's really proved that this season.
Yeah, I think those are the best 2 quarterbacks by far.
By far.
And you're seeing it with Shedeur playing better competition this year. Still, like, he hasn't played like the most insane teams, but
I had a Giants fan friend tell me today, he was like, we're going to draft Shedeur, and then we're going to make Dion the coach, and then Travis gravitates towards Shedeur, so we'll get him too. I'm like, I don't think that's how it works, actually.
No, you won't get both, but like I saw a thing about like multiple teams like drafting Shedeur and then bringing Coach Prime in as their coach.
Do you like it?
I mean, it wouldn't be the craziest.
What if the Cowboys did it? What if they pulled like an Eli Manning draft day and it was set before the NFL draft that Dion was going to come be the Dallas Cowboys head coach, and that Shedeur Sanders said on the record, I am not playing anywhere else in the NFL? What would you say to that? Yes or no? Do you take that deal today?
Yeah.
I think you take that deal, obviously.
It would never happen because we're paying Dak Prescott $60 million a year.
Jerry Jones is still there.
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome.
That would be sick. That would be perfect. And honestly, listen, Jerry Jones, here's our business proposal to you. If you do that, you not only are solving the problem that is presented to Cowboys fans as far as just being a fan, but you're bringing more economic value to the Cowboys. That would skyrocket the Cowboys beyond what we've even seen so far.
It's a businessman like him. It's his dream.
It's
the question
his dream.
is, are you handing it over to a guy that can win you football games? And I don't think that Deion Sanders has proved that in the playoffs enough.
Who cares? If it works,
because I want to win.
But, Jerry Jones doesn't care. It's a business
Jerry Jones
move.
doesn't care. Yeah. That's the
why
fan
you
in
like
me
it.
coming out and saying, is it worth it? And I'd be willing to take a chance. But
I think you have to be willing to take a chance, dude. Like, Deion has won at places he's gone. I mean, Colorado is a good team. They could make the playoff. What do they have? One Big 12 loss, and it was to a very close Kansas State game, right? I mean, so,
I wouldn't be too mad at it. I mean, I'd like the Cowboys to get their next coach be like somewhat kind of like young-ish and
Ben
cool.
Johnson?
Like, I don't know if this would have been the right guy, but like when we were looking at McCarthy, I really wanted Lincoln Riley.
I don't think people want that job anymore. I think the Jerry thing is just so like you don't control your own destiny. Like, I don't know.
I mean, you're not in a great position because you have to be a fan of Dak Prescott. You know that you're walking in and Dak Prescott's your quarterback. I mean, that's the thing with like, we can move on to like similar situation in Chicago where Eberflus is out after the season.
100%.
OC was fired today.
Yeah.
And he's gone. So yeah, that's a great young team with a great defense.
Fired him yet?
It's weird. I don't know.
Just do it now.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to do it.
I mean, I guess it's like his last hope at keeping his job, but.
Oh, isn't like, yeah. I don't know.
But like you have a solid roster there with like receivers that for some reason can't get open. You have a solid running game. You have a good defense. Like if you believe in Caleb Williams, you take that job. If what you saw from Caleb Williams this week was like, whoa, is he another Bryce Young bust? Maybe you don't take that job because you're stuck with Caleb Williams.
Right.
I would bet on Caleb Williams for the record. I'm still in on Caleb Williams.
I don't know. It's so up and down, right? I mean, he's perfect for the Bears, but listen, I'm starving and I am very tired. So how should we conclude this episode? Because we got the big things out. We got a recap in. We got the Eagles Cowboys out. I'd love to run through. Well, first of all, let me start with this. We were in person on Sunday and Saturday night, and we gambled, obviously. I don't know if we were net positive, net negative. We don't have to share. What I do know...
I was positive.
Good job. Good job. I was too. We both went 7-6 in picks, and we both hit our locks of the week. I'm now 8-2 in my locks of the week, and you are 7-3. That is pretty good numbers, but we both tied completely this week. Good for us. Look at us.
Yeah. I'm, it's nice to see us both doing well. And I'm honestly not mad at like, hey, like, sometimes you're on the same level as me kind of thing. Like, that's cool.
We ran a lot of bets together.
I'm back officially because I hit my lock of the week and 6-6 on picks, but I faded every single one of my picks.
7-6.
So 7-6.
Right.
Ooh. So if I faded every single one of my picks, or if I didn't, I would have been 6-7.
Exactly.
Which is like still pretty good. Which I think is like the sporting gods telling me,
by
like,
the way,
all right, you proved your point. Get back to taking your own picks. You're a dog.
Right. And by the way, your lock of the week was like the most disgusting bet. It was Saints plus 3.5, and like kind of in the second quarter, you're like, wait, that's a great bet. Like they're definitely going to cover.
Yeah, I mean that coach is a freak, dude.
Did he like tear his ACL? Did you see that video?
No, they said he like twisted his ankle, but
that was
like
weird.
I don't know. But yeah, Derek Carr wins the game when it doesn't matter, which is awesome. And lock of the week, who would have thought? Saints.
Mine was Jags. I sprinkled on them to win outright. I thought they were gonna, but Mac Jones kind of fucked that up at the end. Terrible football game. 12-7 was the final score.
They scored on their first drive and then didn't score again.
And then I didn't need them to because I had +7. 8-2, man. Come on. That's one thing to hold on to. Ride me with my lock of the weeks. They're doing good.
I mean, if you combine our locks of the week, we're 15-5.
I also feel like we've lost in similar weeks too. Like if you parlay our lock of the weeks, take some plus money value, right? Like we do this for a living. Start to trust us.
And I think we're only going to get better because as the season progresses, bad teams get worse, good teams get good. Like, you just got to be sharp about the upsets. Like you're going to start to see some bigger spreads. Saw a funny stat. Speaking of spreads, we'll get to it for this upcoming week. The Lions are playing Jaguars. The Jaguars in their franchise history have been dogs of 13 or more points 29 times. And the Steelers...
29?
The Steelers in their franchise history have been dogs of 13 or more one time.
One time? Unreal. Keep in mind, what? Steelers are like 1970 at the latest.
They've been around so much longer.
Or like 98.
Pretty crazy stat.
That's crazy, dude. Great stat, Mike.
Thank you. I bring stats.
Yeah, we got to get better at stats, man.
Another stat. The Chiefs are fucking 9-0.
Oh, my God. You know what? So, can I actually segue into this? We'll talk about the Chiefs. I want to talk about the Lions. Let's just talk about the good teams because I actually think this was a very conclusive week in the NFL, not to mention Eagles Cowboys. Okay? But I think we know who it is. I think in the NFC, there's some very defined tiers. I think it's the Lions and the Eagles at the top. you can say what you want about that not being true. What I saw on Sunday is that Jared Goff's got 4 at most bad games in him a year. Shout out Chris Gomez, our friend. He called before the game. He said, Jared Goff stinker incoming. It got me thinking. I was like, damn, we haven't seen a Jared Goff stinker in a while. Maybe the stinkers are gone. Nope, they're still there. The thing is, they still won. The Texans didn't score a point in the second half, right? So the Lions are good. It proves a lot that they can win close football games. However, if you catch them on a Jared Goff stinker game and you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you have to play perfect against to win. They're going to win that game, maybe even at home like the Texans were, okay? That's what I see. And then, there's a middle tier of the Niners, right? And they could jump up to that top tier. The Packers. I wouldn't put what was the other one?
Falcons.
I wouldn't put the Falcons up there yet. I wouldn't put the Arizona Cardinals up there yet. I'd leave them in a tier kind of a little bit below.
Vikings.
The Vikings are in that tier. Yes, we'll give them the second tier.
They're still in that tier?
They're in the second tier. They're not in the top tier. They're in the second tier, right? So it's Eagles, Lions, Niners, Vikings, and what was the last team I said?
Packers,
right.
Do the Commanders? What tier are they
and Commanders. They're in that second tier.
You should do how Big Cat does that ranking every week.
Right. I should do that.
You should do that. And you should have a list of all the teams in front of you so that you don't forget any.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to ever intend to copy part of my take. However, respect is respect is due. They're the best.
That's you don't have to do it like he does. You can just make a simple tier of the NFC and then the AFC. And I think that's a pretty accurate tier. I think the Vikings are very questionable. I think they had a hot start. And
there's 6 teams,
some of their flaws, though, some of their flaws on defense are starting to show.
I think they'll, I think it's the same thing, too, with the Commanders. I know they had a great game against the Steelers. They should have won the game. That 4th down not conversion was, I think that might have been my least favorite call all year. You just have to give that stuff. How do you not give them the first down? It looked like
he had it. It was close.
Oh, yeah. I mean, benefit of the doubt for sure. What was that spot?
Awful.
Embarrassing.
Because if that's called a first down on the field, no way you overturn it.
At FedEx Field. You're at home. You're not going to... Oh, dude. That was terrible. The Steelers get away with another one. I know Russell Wilson looks good. I expect both those teams to start steady declining. I give both those teams that second tier in their respective conferences, right? In the AFC, it's, I think, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Ravens in the top tier. So that's 5 teams in the top tier. I texted you. I said there's 5 teams that can win the Super Bowl. I think it's those 5 teams. The other teams are welcome to prove me wrong. In the second tier, it's the Texans, it's the Steelers, I think that might be it. And then there's a drop-off. And then there's 2 seeds up for grab in the AFC. It's the Dolphins, it's the fucking Colts, it's the
Chargers and the Broncos sit in those spots right now.
Yeah, so I should have mentioned the I'd probably give Chargers that second tier. And then Broncos, slight drop-off, and then big drop-off. So Chargers and Broncos, correct me if I'm wrong, are both in the playoffs right now.
They are.
That's great. That's cool. They're both going to get killed. Maybe not the Chargers. Bo Nix will lose his first playoff game by probably 24. And that's coming from a guy who started the podcast, his very first episode off by claiming stake in Bo Nix. Pretty good take, by the way, so far. We're week 10. I did okay with that Bo Nix take, right?
He's looking like the second best rookie quarterback so far.
Totally.
And if not for Jaden Daniels going sicko, he looks good.
I also just like Bo Nix. He's not a hateable guy, by any means. So, anyways,
it's crazy that the Bengals are only a game out from the playoffs.
So maybe the AFC race is good. I hope the Bengals make the playoffs, because how cool would it be too? Let's say this is what happens, right? That's the bummer about this Chiefs game going the way it did. If you didn't watch, we hope you watched. They got dominated again. I wouldn't say dominated, but they didn't look like the better football team throughout the game. They were up 16-14, and the Broncos had a chance to win the game with a field goal, and it was blocked. And we could talk about how the Broncos block team just decided not to block.
Yeah, people are saying it was fixed.
Okay.
I mean, how did they not block that many people?
It was
no,
pretty
I don't
aggressive.
think it was fixed, and I'd like to believe sports aren't fixed and rigged, but and I don't know how you would do that. Like, how much are they possibly playing? Like, are they paying off those guys? Because
I don't think so.
They're offensive linemen for special teams.
It was really bad.
So
it was really bad.
mean, they didn't block anybody.
I mean, they're giving all these analysts are giving credit to the Chiefs special teams and shit, but it was pretty aggressive. You don't see that was the first time I've seen that. We'll put it that way.
It was wild.
I like that point. But my point was what? So next week is Chiefs Bills. I believe it's Bills in Buffalo. Bills. I'm taking the Bills in this game. I'll already tell everyone. I don't care. I don't fucking care. Okay, they're better, and Josh Allen's better than Patrick Mahomes this year. So I don't care. If they want to take it away, they can keep taking my money. I don't care. Just do it. I'm proving a point with this, okay? My point is, that game could have meant a lot. I think the Bills could have just taken the 1 seed if the Chiefs had lost that game to the Broncos. They have 2 losses, right? They'll still be able to dim the deficit down. But what happens if the Bengals get in with the 7 seed and the Chiefs go to the 2 seed and Joe Burrow starts his playoffs off by going to a Chiefs team that really can't beat you by a lot of points? I don't think they can beat any team by a lot of points. Maybe a couple, right? So no matter what, you're going to have a close game with Joe Burrow in the playoffs where he's won some pretty big fucking games. I would love to see that. Maybe even 16 or sorry, like a 15-2 Chiefs team. Like, how cool would that be?
It'd be cool. It's not going to happen. I mean, that'd be really cool.
It'd be so.
And we would bet on the Bengals in that game, and the Chiefs would win. My point being, the Chiefs are going to beat the Bills. The Chiefs, I think, legitimately might go undefeated. I don't know how you beat the Chiefs.
They're not
that good. I don't know how you beat the Chiefs.
They're not that good.
Then how are they 9-0?
They do the little things right. I mean, I think the Eagles would fucking gut this team. I think they would destroy them.
I hate them, but I will be betting on Patrick Mahomes.
Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl rematch. I think it's what it's leading up to. I looked at tickets today, actually. They were $7,500. Quite more expensive than what I paid for the one in 2022. So I bought that ticket like a day before the game, so hopefully it drops. But
yeah, let's talk. I mean, Super Bowl is going to be you're not going to be able to buy a Super Bowl ticket. I mean, the World Series, obviously it was Yankees-Dodgers.
Yeah.
Big rivalry from the old times, 2 of the biggest cities. But any of those games were $1,400 to get in the door for a World Series game. The Super Bowl is going to stay at $7,000 or go up. You're not going to be able to get a Super Bowl ticket.
So cheap then?
The common folk will no longer be able to attend the Super Bowl. I'm going the first time the Cowboys make it.
I feel like I might not be common folk. I feel like I might be really messed up, actually, and there's some miscalculations, and it makes me special.
I don't know what to say about that.
Help.
You know who's really messed up?
Who?
The Jets.
Nice, Mike. That was good.
So we don't even need to hit on it that much. But Kyler Murray is undefeated since the drop of Call of Duty, and the Jets handed their franchise over to a 41-year-old who takes ayahuasca and isn't good at football.
Isn't it funny how, just one move, just one little, slight part of the story can just ruin your career? Because that's, I think, what's going to go on with Aaron Rodgers in this. This isn't just a typical, you ended your career. And this coming from one of the biggest Aaron Rodgers fans on the planet. This is the biggest scar you could ask for. Not to mention all the ayahuasca shit. He is broken as far as image.
Yeah, but, when you look back on his career in 20 years, you're going to remember 15 years with the Packers and
So
you're going to
good.
remember 2 years with the Jets where one of them he didn't play.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You're
I'm
you're
being
gonna laugh
recency
about
biased.
how he didn't complete a
Yeah.
pass his first season because he got
Yeah.
injured on the 5th play, and you're not even gonna remember this horrific
It's a good point.
season.
Good point.
It
I
should
agree.
be remembered because of how bad it is and of
I
how
mean,
bad he is screwing over the Jets.
not
But
good.
it'll just be another chapter in the Jets historically fucking suck. But
Poor Jets fans.
at
Poor
least I'm not
Giants
a Jets,
fans.
Giants, or Bears fan because I think those 3 franchises are really sad.
Yeah, the Panthers are on a win streak, so we can't even count them. But yeah, I think it's those 3. The Patriots like have some hope, right? Even the Titans. Now, Titans maybe are also depressing.
Yeah, but just like historically, like I mean, I guess the
Dude, the
Giants had their 2
Bears.
Super Bowls in the early 2000s, but like
The Bears were really trying to convince us all that Caleb Williams was better than Jaden Daniels.
I still think he can be.
You're taking the stance of that. I'm not. I've said that.
I mean, who would I rather have right now? Who would I rather have to build a franchise? Who would I rather have in anything? All Jaden Daniels.
I have
All
a
I'm
question.
saying is, I think Caleb Williams is in a fucked up situation. It's not
Is
healthy.
there a single rookie quarterback you would rather have over? I'm sorry, is there a quarterback you would take Caleb Williams over in this rookie class besides JJ McCarthy? I'll even include Penix in there.
To build a franchise, yeah, I think I'd still take him over
May?
Yeah.
No.
I'd arguably take him over Bo Nix.
So you would take, well, I guess this is a good debate. Like you would take Knicks over May for the future.
Yeah.
I kind of like Drake May. He's very he has intangibles. He's athletic.
Yeah, I need to see him like throw the ball more though.
I think it kind of like flies out of his hand.
Yeah. I just like haven't seen him throw it more than 10 yards down the field. And maybe that's on me. Maybe he has done that.
I think it's on the Patriots and Scott Hansen. I mean, not to blame them, but not on TV as much. We had a good setup on Sunday. We had the quad box going of our favorite games. And then we had Red Zone on the other TV. And then when Eagles Cowboys came on, we dominated the big screen with that. And then we put just the other 2 games in a multi-view on the other TV. Only 3 games in the afternoon slate. By the way, they all fucking blew. They were terrible. Sunday night
none of them
was dope. If we want to talk about that was cool because we stayed up for that game and like I feel like we were kind of on it, dude. We were throwing some weird points at each other. Like I feel like we just kind of saw the game really well. Like we kind of knew the Lions were going to win it somehow. We knew the Texans like deserved to win it, but also like honestly, the first thing I want to talk about from this game, Mike, is the throw CJ Stroud had, his last interception, when they pretty much had a drive to end the game. Would have been their first points of the second half. And Tank Dell is wide open on this play action pass where he rolls out to the right and Tank Dell's doing a corner route. And he waits like 2 more seconds and then just lobs it up there as if it was 2 seconds earlier and he's like still wide open. And the guy just chases it down. The safety just had to wait until he threw it. It was a really bad throw, not just because of the throw, but because of the moment. I mean, that's what lost him the game.
And like he usually doesn't do that, or at least he didn't do that last year. I don't know if he's not as comfortable without Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs, but like he didn't have crazy weapons last year, and he doesn't look as good this year. He's definitely having a little sophomore slump.
Yeah, but it was a great game, and I already touched on the Lions and Jared Goff with 5 picks. I do want to just point out, because I've been thinking about the Lions a lot this week. Just full transparency, I just think it's kind of lining up for Eagles Lions. Shout out one of my best friends in the world, Gavin Gray, who is a just diehard Detroit Lions fan, and he is louder than both of us combined about it. So Good guy though.
As he should be.
And I was rooting for him a lot last year, but I think the Eagles would actually beat the Lions in most games. I think it mostly comes down to I think our defense is actually really good. And I don't think the Lions defense is really good, especially because of the Aiden Hutchinson thing. It looks like Carlton Davis is banged up, right? Terry and Argyle so they're injured there. But man, if there's one thing I loved the most about the Eagles season so far, it's the defense. It's really been surprising.
Yeah. I mean, the young quarterbacks look legit. The defense has limited people. I still think you're being a little harsh on the Lions defense, which fucking flies. They have Brian Branch, who's unreal.
Yeah, he is.
They just got Zadarius Smith. He'll be playing this week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's legit.
Did he not play in that game?
He didn't. They wanted to wait till next week.
Yeah, you're totally right then. So yeah, they'll improve.
I mean,
that was probably the worst of what we'll see.
The Lions are good.
The Lions are really good. Like I said, I've been thinking about them a lot. I think maybe that was an overtake, but I think the 1 seed means a lot, man. I really wanted them to lose that game. They still got to play the Packers again. There's some tough games in there. The Eagles have the Ravens coming up. They have the Rams. They have the Steelers, right? So Commanders twice.
I was going to say Commanders on Thursday night is just an immediate big game.
What a game. I'm so pissed off, dude. My fucking friends scheduled Friendsgiving, which is fine because the game will be on and shit, and I'll get super wine drunk. But dude, this is our best game of the season so far. This is our biggest game. Not it out.
Yeah.
So far in the season.
No, easily.
And they all hate that I'm an Eagles fan. Obviously, most people hate Eagles fans. And I'm gonna have my eyes peeled. I kind of want it. I don't doubt a single one of them are going to listen to this. I kind of want to cancel. I'm dead serious. I don't want to miss this game. I love this game. I'm so excited.
I think out of respect for your friendship, though, they should be okay with you sitting in front of the TV the whole time.
100%. 100%. And I will make a vow to try and not be that annoying, right? But also I don't know. This was rescheduled for some other bullshit. So I'm kind of the one taking the staff, I guess, but whatever. It'll be fun.
I feel like it was kind of rude of them to not schedule around the Eagles football game. So
I'm such an asshole, dude. Why are people friends with me?
No, I mean, I would be doing the same thing.
Yeah, right. It's I'm just freaking out about it a little bit because I just really want to dial into this game. It's going to be a great game. I'm really confident about it. Just put it on the record now. I think the Commanders, we've seen this with teams time and time again in the NFL, exciting rookie quarterback, something new head coach, haven't been good in a while. But really, it's not your time yet. You're going to decline, and you're going to give us this slight hope to build on for next year, right? We saw it with the Lions 2 years ago. So I think they still make the playoffs. I think it's mostly just because the NFC is bad in the middle. So this is the game that they're going to lose. They're going to lose 2 games in a row. They're going to go to a above average record versus an elite record in the NFL. And maybe they make it close, but I don't think they're talented enough to beat a fully healthy, coherent Eagles team, which we've seen the past 3 weeks. I just don't think anyone beats the team we've seen the past 3 weeks. Full transparency.
Big take.
It is a big take.
All right. I don't remember who you beat 3 weeks ago, but last week you barely beat the Jaguars, and this week you beat Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. So I think we should slow down there.
I think I'm being really logical.
I think you're overhyping your team and setting yourself up to be super depressed at some point.
Stop this. I should stop.
Because the Eagles are not going to win the Super Bowl, and at some point, Jalen Hurts is going to do something stupid because, one cool moment from Sunday was I did call the Jalen Hurts interception. All of my bullshit, stupid facts.
That sucked. It was a really good play by Trayvon Diggs. It was Jalen Hurts shouldn't have thrown the ball,
but
that was,
and then he makes cool plays.
Right.
Yeah.
That was, he does that. Yeah.
So,
but Jalen Hurts had a really good game.
I think you're getting a little too high on the Eagles here.
I think Jalen Hurts could win MVP still. I think like he's been playing really incredible. I think the defense is special. I think the coordinators are there. I think Nick Sirianni is just clearly the best football coach in football.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Sorry to bring this back to the
getting
Eagles.
delusional. You're getting too high on them, and it's going to come down crumbling hard at some point. And it might be as soon as Thursday. Not to say that Thursday would end your season, but you seem way too overly confident for a big divisional game.
I'm almost ready to give a challenge to myself because of my confidence.
You should.
I was actually thinking, shower thought recently. I was like, Eagles might not lose again. See if I went out, get the 1 seed, and then just win the Super Bowl. I just think
you should do like if the Eagles aren't the 1 seed, you should do something.
Ooh, that's good. I was gonna say like if they lose, I have to do this, and maybe it's each time and kind of sucks.
That sounds cool. I do that every week.
It's about time. It's about time. And you're depressed enough. I need to pick it up, honestly.
No, but on a more positive spin, my birthday is next Wednesday. So when I was with my mom, she got me some running shoes for my birthday. I'm just gonna take this thing seriously, and I'm gonna start getting in shape, getting into running. I'm gonna buy like the little goos you eat on your long runs, and you know, I'm gonna start. I got a massage gun. I'm gonna start like stretching and stuff. Like, I think I'm gonna be a runner. So I think after the winter, because the winter is gonna be tough, I'm just gonna have to persevere. But once it starts to get warmer again, I think I'm gonna run a marathon, because like I'll basically be running like almost marathons all the time.
Right.
So like I might as well like do it and like get a medal. Like I've thought about like, do I like set up a marathon like for myself when the Cowboys season is over to like celebrate no more running?
So you want to make your life more miserable? Yeah. Sure. I think
I've
the people
debated
expect
like just turning this all into a marathon train.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that is very, very logical. You kind of want to have a product of the work you put in. So yeah, do it.
It's either we go viral and I get super famous, which like is totally unguaranteed, or I run a marathon and like I don't get a medal because like it's my own marathon, but like I ran a marathon.
You ran a marathon. Yeah.
So yeah, I might. I'm not going to lock myself into that one because I locked myself into this challenge way too fast and I hate myself for it. But
I have something.
Yeah.
Georgia sucks. Carson Beck is trash.
And we were all over it.
I mean, they're just not that good.
No,
they're just not that good. The
SEC not that good.
Is so weird this year because also LSU got smoked by Alabama, right? Ole Miss might actually win out like they said. So, like, who's winning the SEC, Mike? I mean, Texas is your easy answer. 2 weeks ago, people were saying Quinn Ewers should be benched and Texas is not that good anymore, right? So, like, it should changes by the week.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I think Texas A&M was leading the SEC, and now they're projected to not even make the playoff.
Bingo, right? They were like the sneaky hot team. Same thing with LSU, right? I mean, Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. Georgia, like shaky game against the Gators, shaky game against Kentucky, and then boom, you get demolished by Ole Miss. By the way, I took this stance. I don't know if you guys all agreed with it. That is not a storm the field. I'm sorry. It's just not. You're the number 15 seed in the country. You're playing at home against Georgia. Like, act like you've been there. You have Lane Kiffin. I don't care if you've been there or not. Like, you had expectations this year. You were like the number 6 team in the country at one point.
I mean, I think I could justify it a little more if it was a close game that they won with like a game-winning kick or something. But this was a big game. This game was their season. If they lose, that's 3 losses. They're done. The past few years, if it was a 12-team playoff, they would have made the playoffs. So they felt like this was their year to make it and that Lane Kiffin was finally going to get them there. It didn't look like that. This was a massive, massive, massive
It was a
game.
big win.
It wasn't College Game Day, but like it was basically like the number 2 game of the week.
Yeah.
And I support them rushing the field. It's the best win that Ole Miss has had in how long? Like a long time.
That is a good point. I mean, they've had obviously their Alabama wins in there,
I
but
think what was the guy's name? Chad, the
Chad Kelly,
quarterback.
yeah, he
Chad
beat
Kelly, I
Alabama.
think
I think
beat
he beat them
Alabama.
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
like
they
still
weren't as
those
good.
years they never put it together. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, this is the most excited they can be about an Ole Miss team in probably our whole
It is a big
lifetime.
win. It is a big win because I think you saw things out of the defense you were hoping to see.
Yeah, and it seems like, as predicted, the SEC is the best. Tennessee is still leading the SEC. They have some
They suck.
intriguing games coming up.
They
I mean,
suck.
so they have to travel to Georgia this week. Georgia is
Suck
10-point
versus suck.
favorites.
Who
Wow.
sucks more? Loser leaves home game. Like whoever loses this game, you're not. Maybe you still squeak into the playoff. You're not winning the national championship.
Well, it's interesting because they say more than 2 losses, and you probably don't make it. So Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Texas all have 1. Texas A&M still has to play Texas. It's in Texas A&M, but you assume Texas wins that one. UGA, Ole Miss, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU all have 2 losses. You assume Missouri and LSU are kind of out based on the way they lost their 2 games.
Wait,
Alabama's
I'm sorry.
holding on.
This might be a dumb question, but there is still an SEC championship, right? It's just the top 2 teams.
Yeah, it's just the top
Okay.
2 teams.
Good. I hope they never get rid of championship games. That would suck.
No, they won't do that. But you can still make the playoff if you lose your championship,
right, totally.
or if you're not even in it.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
So
and
that'll
the
be
last
interesting
thing,
to keep an eye on.
Yeah, with college football is Indiana is 10-0. They beat Michigan, who was, obviously not as good this year, but you beat Michigan. How many times have you said that in the past 10 years? Do you have a quick stat check? My vote would probably be 0.
Last 10 years, I would also say 0.
I don't remember Indiana ever beating Michigan.
No, and they have a bye week. Ohio State is going to play Northwestern, which is basically a bye week.
No.
And then Indiana plays Ohio State in 2 weeks.
They're 10-0. And Big Ten is also now just top 2 teams, right?
Yeah, all of them are.
Do you like that? I kind of like it.
I mean, because there's just like too many teams for them to like have divisions.
Yeah, no, I like it. So
I
it could
agree.
very easily be Indiana, Ohio State. Like, it could easily be Indiana. I don't think it's as easy for Penn State considering Ohio State beat them. My point is, like, Penn State could miss the Big Ten championship, which honestly might be the best thing for them. They'll still get to the playoff round.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Oregon because Oregon's undefeated, and they play Wisconsin and Washington. So assuming they don't fumble that, they'll be undefeated. And then Indiana will probably lose to Ohio State. They'll both have 1 loss. Ohio State has a tiebreaker over them and Penn State. It looks like we should get a Oregon-Ohio State rematch in the Big Ten championship.
Good, as it should be.
And
I love you, Indiana.
I wonder if they will give me odds on that, because if I can get plus money on that being the Big Ten championship, I just wrote the script.
I don't think you would.
I'm just saying, if I
because
did.
I think before the Penn State Ohio State game, yeah, but I think most people still assume that Indiana won't get there. If they do, it's one of the biggest Cinderella stories ever. Considering these
saying,
yeah, I love college football.
If they give me odds on it,
college football has been incredible this year.
I like it.
It's been.
It has.
The NFL, I've been getting really pissed off at. I think it's become a really bad product. I think there's just so many bad teams. There's middle of the pack is bad now, right? Middle of the pack quarterbacks are bad now.
All quarterbacks are bad.
Yeah, right? I mean, except for Jalen Hurts.
5.
It's really because even Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy have bad games sometimes. But
it's
there's
Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna put those 4 up there. I know people want to throw Herbert, Hurts, and even Daniels in there. You really can't make an argument those aren't the best 4 quarterbacks in the NFL, in my opinion.
I think CJ Stroud is on the second level.
Exactly, yeah.
Justin Herbert's on the second level.
Jalen Hurts is on second level.
Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, Jordan Love, second level.
Right.
Kirk Cousins, second level. Kyler
Right.
Murray, not
They all have
there.
promise. They all have games where they're the first level. Sure, but like that's not why they're at the second level. It's a consistency thing.
Those are the top 4 quarterbacks in the league. Agreed.
I would be curious if anyone does not agree with that.
I just don't think at this
I don't think
point,
it's debatable.
At this point in the year, I don't think you could argue anyone else gets in there. I don't think you can argue for Jared Goff after last week.
No. And I'm sorry, if you want to take a stance on Joe Burrow, like, oh, like he's lost. Like, no. Joe Burrow hasn't lost a thing. It's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow.
He's putting up the best stats of his career.
I would argue, honestly, I think I would take Joe Burrow out of all of those guys. I just love him that much. I know Patty is like, obviously, like, how could you say that? But, this Bears thing has just really got me thinking, like, if the Bears did take Patrick Mahomes, is he Patrick Mahomes? Nobody has succeeded as the quarterback of the Chicago Bears ever. It's never happened. Ever. Like,
it's definitely a situation thing. And I think that's like when I brought up, like, if Brock Purdy gets drafted to any other team, is he Brock Purdy?
Exactly. No, absolutely not, I think is the answer.
But I think it's interesting you say you take Joe Burrow over the rest. I think that Patrick Mahomes, and this is the reason why I would take him over the rest, his greatest comparison to Tom Brady is he's a winner. And when you would look at the prime generation of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning and all those guys, you would take Tom Brady because he was the winner. You could argue that all those other guys were more talented.
Yeah.
And could do more.
Yeah.
But Tom Brady won Super Bowls and he won games and he was the one seed in the AFC every single year. I think that is the greatest comparison between him and Patrick Mahomes. I assume after this year, Patrick Mahomes will have a more normal year, and we're also only halfway through the year, so he can totally kick it the year.
Right.
But he's having his worst year by far. The other 3 are by far outplaying him, and he's not in it.
Totally. And we won't give him all the blame because, I mean, he's throwing the just dog shit. There's nothing on that offense.
No.
Yeah. There's a lot to break down about the Chiefs, but I like the way that we ended this pod.
Yeah.
It's great to see you.
It was great to see you.
Yeah. Shout out you.
Shout out me. Maybe like we get like a cheeky like Commanders home playoff game against the Eagles. That seems unlikely. I won't go to an Eagles playoff game in Philly, but if
you're down.
No, I'm not down.
Figured you were not down.
I said I wouldn't go to that.
Maybe like, you come just hang out. We can like tailgate and don't go to the game and watch at a bar. Then me and McClain will go.
We could go to a Knicks Sixers game.
Totally. We should totally go to the Knicks Sixers game.
The Knicks are 1-0 against the Sixers so far this season.
Yeah, we both want to move to New York. Like, we got to visit. Scope out the area.
The Knicks beat the Sixers tonight in Joel Embiid's return.
Great. Awesome. Wednesday night basketball.
Joel Embiid dropped 13 points. He only played 26 minutes. It looks like he's not playing back-to-backs.
Oh, he's not
even playing full games.
Wait, this happened tonight?
Yeah, you just don't know ball, I guess. But yeah, so Joel Embiid is back. He is not playing full games. He is not playing back-to-backs. He's playing half games.
Paul George at 29. That's good to see.
2 for 11 shooting for Joel Embiid. The Sixers are 2-8.
Yeah, they're fine, though.
Yeah, they're fine. The Knicks starting 5 consistently all drop double digits. It's super cool. Miles McBride drops another 15. He's averaging 11.2 points.
Your starting 5 also played more than 35 minutes each, and the Sixers starting 5, their lowest was 26 on average. So, like, they're just not playing their guys this time of year. It's been very clear what the Sixers are doing from the start. They are resting Joel Embiid. They are resting Paul George when he's injured. He had a great game tonight, right? So they're just not going to be good right now.
When do they start trying to get wins, though?
When the Eagles
2-8
lose.
is bad.
When the Eagles lose. That's when they will pick up slack. It's a
Interesting.
teeter-totter type thing.
Yeah,
All
the
right,
Knicks.
I gotta go to bed. I hate the Knicks. I hate you.
Last game, they played the Pacers.
Yeah.
Miles Bridges, 42 minutes. OG Anunoby, 36 minutes. Cat, 39 minutes. Jalen Brunson, 41 minutes. And Josh Hart, 43 minutes. So the Knicks are in playoff form. Someone's going to get injured, and then another one's going to get injured because when one gets injured, then the rest of them have to play more.
Oh,
so
it's a lot of minutes, Thibodeau.
By the end of the season, our starting point guard will be Tyler Kolek. Deuce McBride.
No.
Don't forget about Deuce McBride.
Yeah, well, Tom Thibodeau is instilling grit.
I mean, hey, they like him. So. Good night, Mike. Jaws.
Sorry if I was all over the place in that one. I tried my best.
That's all we can ask from you.
I have 14 meetings tomorrow.
Have fun with that. No one cares.
Bye.